Hi, this is Arun from Random Codes. In this video, let's take a look at channels request on YouTube Data API. Let's take a quick look at the documentation that we have. It clearly states that the channel resource contains information about a YouTube channel. So here are the two supported methods. One is list and update, and the list will return a collection of 0 or more channel resources that match the request criteria. So in few minutes we'll try to execute one list request on channels and see how the response will look like. This will be the resource representation in JSON format, and this is how the response will look like. And there are certain properties that are mentioned here. So one is the snippet, content details, ID, and statistics, topic details, and so on. And if you scroll down on this documentation page, we have a definition for each of the property that is being included on the JSON format that is mentioned here. So we can read through this properties definitions to understand each of the property better. And if we scroll down, so this list is so extensive and we can easily go through that because they are self-explanatory. Now let's see how we can execute a list request. So let me click this, and once you click that, we'll be routed to this particular page which is specific to the list request on channels. So this particular request will return a collection of 0 or more channel resources that match the request criteria. Look at this quota cost. So it is just 1 unit, meaning 1 unit per each request. So here are some of the common use cases where this request can be used to return a list of channels based on the username, based on the channel ID, and so on. And if we scroll down further, so this is the request URL, and these are the parameters that we can pass along with the request. One of them is path, so which can take all these valid values like audit details, branding settings, content details, snippet, statistics, and so on. And if we scroll further, there are some useful filters that we can use along with the request to filter the kind of data that it returns. So one of them is category ID. We can retrieve channels based on a category ID, and ID, which is like nothing but a channel ID. So we can retrieve the channel details based on the channel ID, and so on. And there are some optional parameters that we can pass along with the request. One of them is max results. So this is to let the request know that how many records that we are expecting in the response. So the default value is 5, but it can accept values starting from 0 to 50. And we don't have a request body because this is a list service. And coming to the response, this is the kind of format the response will look like, and these are the properties and their definitions. And here is a list of error messages that this particular request can return in case of any issues. And this is all about the documentation that we have for channels list request. And on the right hand side, we have an option to try this API where we can provide values to the parameters, the request parameters, and execute this request. So let me quickly provide some details and try to execute it. So let me use snippet for path, and I have to provide this ID. And if we scroll down, this is the max results we can give. If you want to, we'll just leave it and then click on execute. And we had to provide access. So I'll just select my account, Google account, and allow this. So once we do that, this request will be executed and we'll get the response in this fashion. Now we have gone through everything that is available on documentation. for channels list request. Now let's try to create a request using the Postman and see if we can execute it there. So this is the Postman request that we have for channels, where I use the URL that is required for channels, and the method will be get. Then I have provided my API key, and then for part, so I have added some valid values, snippet, content details, and statistics. And against this ID, so I gave the random codes channel ID, and I'll just execute it. So once we execute it, so it will return the details about this particular specific channel. In case if you want to retrieve all the channels that are specific to a particular user, then we can remove this parameter and use this for username, where we have to provide the username so that it will return all the channels and their details in the response. So similarly, we have this max results, so where we can provide some kind of values between 0 to 50, so that in case if there are more number of channels, then it will return up to the value that you provide against this max results. So this is all about the channels request that we have on YouTube Data API. That's all for now. I hope this video is useful. Let us know your feedback and suggestions in the comment section. If you like the content, feel free to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. I'll see you on another video with a different topic. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day.